I am a rebel. And I don't say that just because it sounds cool or that I think I'm cool because I'm a rebel, but it's because I don't like listening to what people tell me that I have to do. Ask my wife. She knows what I'm talking about. Every time she asks me to do something, it's always like, there's this tinge of like, I mean, do I really want to, And this started since I was a kid. My mom would tell you the exact same thing. I questioned everything. So when my mom said, "Hey, uh, my parents got divorced when I was 8. We moved to American Falls, Idaho, and and so I had to find some new friends." And she said, "Hey, find some nice, clean, religious folks, right, to be your friends." And I said, "Sure, I'll do that. Yeah, great." And and so I got into middle school, and I noticed a guy who was walking down the hall, and he had a pencil in his mouth, and he was pretending to smoke it like a cigarette. And I said, "So, do you smoke?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, me too." My stepbrother got me into that. That's a whole other story, um, but we bonded on that, and that's kind of how our friend group started. Um, Now, this lasted all through middle school, and we ranged from, going in the back alley smoking weed, and then also going on the playground and playing pretend and RPG style stuff, fantasy games. So it was kind of, we were kids trying to be adults, um, and we got into high school, and things kind of started to change. Uh, I started to go into being a little bit more religious than I was inclined to be, and I also got interested in girls. One of which got me involved in theater, which I had previously thought this was the '90s, so gay was meant not cool, and I thought, oh, that's gay, and and it took me a long time to be like, wait, uh, I really like theater. And I tried out for Pirates Penzance, got the lead role, and that's been my passion ever since. And so it kind of brought me away from my friend group. And they were all so supportive about it. It was so cool. None of them were like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of nerdy that you're doing that, and we don't want to be your friend anymore." They were all so supportive. They all came to my shows. It was really cool. Um, and We grew apart, and my we still saw each other in the hallways and things like that. But a couple of my friends, their parents, they started to think, hey, let's move out of this town. Which I don't blame them. American Falls, if you've ever been there, you can blink and you can miss it. It's not an exciting place, you know. There's a dam there. That's about all there is. We don't even have a McDonald's. So um but we had a few of our friends that were moving. One was moving to Alaska. So we had Hank, who was the one I met in the hall, Ben, Joey, and then we had Kyle and Woody. They were kind of ancillary, but it was me, Hank, and Joey, really, and Ben that were the big group, right? So we had to go to Pingree, Idaho. I was the only one with a car. I had a beautiful Chevy Chevelle 71, and my dad and I had redone the engine on it, and I loved it so much. But we drove to Pingree. I had Hank and Joey with me. We were picking up Ben, and Kyle and Woody were going to meet us there. So we get in the car, and we're listening to Linkin Park. We're, doing the metal thing. It was so great, just feeling that teenage rebellion. And I don't know where this paintball gun came from, but it was in the back seat. And my friend Hank, he's a bit of a character. My wife's met him. He's a little nuts. Very nice guy, though. Um, he decides, I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick my head out the window and pretend like I'm shooting at this semi truck driver. And so, I'm just thinking like, oh, what an idiot! Don't do that. Like, come on, man. And I thought nothing of it. Right? It was a silly, dumb thing. Surely they knew it was a dumb child trying to pretend something were fun. So we go to the marina, right? This little area that has a dock where you get a little boating action going on. You can fish there, but there's a secluded little area full of trees, and that's where we decided we're going to get our drink on. So we go in there, we build a bonfire, we're bonding, you can just like smell the fire, and it was so fun. And we're drinking and getting, loosened up and everything. And my friend Woody finally shows up with his girlfriend, and she had kind of an interesting reaction. I didn't think she would have this kind of a reaction, but she saw me and she was like, "Oh, Chris is here getting drunk? Like, I don't know if I feel like good about that." I was like, I was rebellious, right? But I was like the goody two shoe rebellious one for some reason. I don't know. I did all the same things, but for some reason I was that guy. So I don't know. For some reason she felt uncomfortable with that, and she was like, "I want to go." So I said, "Okay, hey, what you can borrow my car? That's fine." And we're sitting there waiting for him. It's been half an hour. We're like, is Woody coming back? What's going on here? And after a while, we see a pair of headlights, and we're like, "Okay, there he is. Cool, awesome. We can get this party started again." We see another pair of headlights. Oh, he must have found a buddy to come with us and make the party even better. Another pair of headlights. Like, really hope that's another buddy. Another pair of headlights. Oh, yeah, we are in trouble. And so we collect all of the booze, and we're going into the dark, secluded areas of the forest and trying to hide them behind bushes and all kinds of things. Of course, it's not going to work. And I kind of realized that after a minute, and I'm just like, we're guys, I started to walk down there, and of course, the police officer's coming up. Woody's pretty close behind then, and then my mom also is in tow. I didn't get a whole lot of discovery happening right there until we got to the police station, but the whole ride there, I'm just like, "Oh, please, just let everything work out, I'll never touch alcohol again, please." And we got there, and it's interesting because I used to tell this story differently, okay? I used to tell it as a cautionary tale. I no longer tell it as a cautionary tale. But I was lucky enough to blow a zero, even though I had been drinking a lot. And I owe that to my Indian heritage, I think. I don't know what it is. But I was very lucky, and that kind of softened the blow there. But man, it bonded us, right? Just that getting into trouble, expressing ourselves the way that we wanted to, kind of trying to be adults, years went by. I went to school for theater, married this beautiful woman over here. And we were both interested in theater. We had what we thought was a really tight group of theater people, decided to get married and invited them all. We had a whole department to bring to our wedding. I guess how many of them showed up? I don't know. Was it like 0 or 2? I can't remember if one of them showed up or it was none. But it wasn't much. I did invite my buddies from high school, and they all showed up. And this was off of a really silly promise that they had made to me, way back when we were just sitting in their living room smoking. And I said, "Hey, if we get married, we should all just try to make it to each other's weddings." Just, it was like a romantic idea, a 90s movie idea, And it was so cool. And I just remember thinking, I started with myself being this rebellious kind of kid, this kid who didn't want to listen to necessarily what everyone else wanted me to do. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I started to lose track of that. That moment has stuck with me since, and has since brought me back to who I feel like I am, which is a more balanced version of a little bit of rebellion, a little bit of obedience, and a little bit of darkness sometimes can show you the light. And it just goes to show you that no matter what someone looks like, you never know what kind of person they are. You never know what they're going to bring into your life, and what kind of person they're going to make you. And those guys made me the person that I am today.